So now that we talked about the role that the hypothalamus plays in the hunger drive, we're going to start to look at eating behavior as sort of a wider concept. We're going to look at how our body utilizes the energy that it takes in. We're going to look at why some people's bodies deal with caloric intake differently. And so to get started down that path, we're just going to go over a couple of important terms. First, here we have set point. The concept of a set point is the idea that every person's body is somewhat different in the way that it handles calories, in the way that it handles fat cells, in the way that it handles weight. And I think you guys, being adolescents, are pretty aware of the fact that people's bodies are just shaped differently. And there's a lot of factors that go into that. David G. Myers would emphasize that we are biopsychosocial systems. And from a bio standpoint, your individual body has a weight at which it is comfortable. And so it has a weight at which it really tries to stay. And so you can make, behavioral changes. You can eat different food. You can try different exercises. And it might be true that your body can sort of somewhat fluctuate, but it also wants to cling to the point at which it's biologically comfortable. And that point is different for different people. That's why it's such a bad idea, right, to compare your body and yourself to other people, because different people have different set points and they're very much biologically and genetically determined. Now, some psychologists recommend using the term settling point as opposed to set point. Set sounds really, really final and really, really fixed, whereas settling sort of emphasizes this feeling that our body's comfortable at a certain point biologically, but it certainly can be shifted. But the vocab term that we're going to be using is set point, and your thyroid and your metabolism and the rate at which your body burns through energy has a lot to do with what this set point is. So that brings us to a concept called basal metabolic rate. This is your body's resting rate of energy expenditure. And what I mean by that is over the course of a given day, your body can't do everything that it does with absolutely no caloric intake. Calories, I think, we've been socialized to think of them as some sort of evil unit. They're just a unit of energy. And so your body does a whole lot of things over the course of a day just to keep you alive. If you think of all the autonomic functions that your body engages in, your heart has to beat, your lungs have to respirate, your brain needs to process things. Those activities take energy. And so at any given moment, your body is actually burning through energy. Now, different people's bodies burn through energy at different rates. And so you have a basal metabolic rate that's different from someone else's. And it is just the baseline level of how much energy does it take for your body to stay alive. Now, if you lead a really, really active lifestyle, then you're going to need, way more energy above just this basal metabolic rate. But it is a good practice to get into, to be thinking about the fact that you don't just eat food because it's delicious. That is a good reason to eat it. But you also eat food because that's fuel for your body. And whether or not you think that you're doing anything, you're doing something just by sitting there. You're doing something just by being alive. And so your body needs fuel in order to engage in just those basic autonomic functions.